Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me as we take a look at the astrological energies of August 12th through the 19th, including a very dynamic Leo new moon that I'll be talking about in today's show. And we're also going to look at how active both the Sun and Mercury are over the next week. So when the Sun and Mercury are active, it really brings alive more in your own personal energy field. We really get some new ideas, some new possibilities flowing. And these energies are interacting with the outer planets, which means there's going to be some shifts in your perceptions, in your thoughts, in those exact possibilities that maybe you thought you had to commit to or stay focused on. There are energies here that are asking you to go beyond what you first assumed or what you first thought possible. So I'll go into more of those energies in today's show. But I'd like to begin by talking about one of the more intense energies that is happening this week, which involves Mars in Aries squaring Pluto in Capricorn at 23 degrees. Pluto is retrograde and Mars is direct, and this is the first of 3 squares that they're going to have over the next few months. The second square will be in October when both planets are retrograde. It actually happens just as Pluto stations direct at 22 degrees of Capricorn. And then they have a third and final square towards the end of December when both planets are direct and they're meeting up again at 23 degrees. So it's very important to understand that we are embarking on a 5-month process of working through parts of yourself, parts of your life that are changing, and being aware that what's happening this week is probably not going to resolve until late December, early January, because Mars and Pluto are going to have 2 additional conversations around this same topic in your life. So Mars in Aries represents what you want now, your sense of self, your sense of self-leadership, what you're aiming for, what you're driving for, what really speaks to you, something you want to make happen, you want to perhaps do it your own way. And there's even an urgency with it because Aries is ready now. Aries is very much in the moment, impulsive, ready to go, no time like the present. However, this impulsive energy is meeting up with Pluto in Capricorn, which is asking Mars to stop, think, slow down, and to not force anything. And what happens is it shows up as some kind of inner or external control or power dynamic. Perhaps something you're pushing for, you can't make it happen. Perhaps there is some kind of argument or disagreement with someone in your world or in your life who represents these Pluto or Capricorn archetypes, and they are perhaps challenging you or not allowing you to assert yourself. At least that's how it feels. This is an energy of that Pluto in Capricorn is something bigger than us, something more powerful, something outside of just our own sense of what we want. It's like what you're trying to make happen has a stop sign, but there is a power struggle involved. And what it's showing us is many things. It's showing us that we can trust a process, that it's okay to go slow. And so what do you do? What tools do you have that can help you move energy through your physical body, move the frustration, move the anger, move the reaction without allowing it to stop your own life force? It's like an assignment right now to look at how do I feel powerful in myself, alive in my life, alive and connected to what I want, but understanding that even if I don't get it right now, or I can't make it happen right now, I'm not meant to give up. I'm not meant to let something just disappear when I really, really want it. I'm meant to find a new way to strengthen what I need and who I am. And that square from Pluto brings in a pressure, brings in a sense of tension and angst. It can bring up obsession. It can bring up something that you really, really want and you are trying to figure out how to go about it, or you're trying to figure out a new solution. This energy is difficult when we first encounter it, but keep in mind it's going to come back in October. specifically October 7th through the 12th, and then again in December 21st through the 24th. And both Mars and Pluto are going to be in these same places in your natal chart. So wherever 22 and 23 degrees of Aries and 22 and 23 degrees of Capricorn are in your chart is where you're experiencing these energies, that you're going to be developing new tools, new intentions, and new awareness for working through what's coming up for you. And again, that Mars in Aries is going to feel challenged. And so what do you do to maintain your sense of self and your drive when the timing isn't quite right just yet? So there's some things to be aware of here over this next week about where you get triggered, where you get pissed off, where something comes up for you, and what you do about it. And I feel like part of what's happening is that this Mars in Aries has the potential to mature, to be matured through a process, and to not allow anyone to get the best of them, to not allow your own feeling or frustration to overcome you or to be something that takes command of a situation. How can you remain in your body and feel strong in your body while knowing that there are times in life that we have to basically take our foot off the gas pedal and we can't get what we want right away? Because this Pluto in Capricorn is not only slowing down Mars in Aries and really providing that, it's that tension, but it's meant to help us see that even if something doesn't come about right away, it still can be forming in the background. It still can be circulating, and it's still energy that you are in charge of. So that Pluto in Capricorn is asking you to look at, how are you giving your power away in a situation? How are you assuming that someone else has more resources, more information, more authority, more whatever than you? And how can you call it back in? Because you're working with these archetypes in both areas of your life. And you may identify with the Pluto and Capricorn energies more than the Mars in Aries energies, for example. But we all have access to both. And we're all being asked to look at how we consciously work with the bigger timing of development, bigger timing of a process, and how it's okay to step back from getting immediate results and to stay in the present moment. So this is a bit of that push and pull. This is where things can get uncomfortable, but because you know what's coming up, and because you're aware of it, it can help you set some new, healthier expectations of yourself. And it's going to show you that this theme is going to come up for all of us again in October and in December. And when these energies are working with us 3 times, it is a process. So this is the opening square that is going to bring up something for your awareness, and then you're going to have the opportunity to work through it over the next number of months. And that can help with a bit of peace of mind where, okay, I don't have to force this. I don't have to figure it all out right now, even though I want to. Even if there's something that you want closure on, for example, or you want something to move through and really end or show up in a certain way for you. What I feel is that if you can step out of it and even take your ego out of it, it's going to help alleviate some of those reactions and feelings that can bring up where you're dissatisfied. And later on in August, Mars in Aries is going to also square Saturn retrograde in Capricorn, which is another stop sign or something that is halted and challenged. It can be a no. So this Mars that we're all feeling is going to be slowing down. And how we work with that is either something we embrace and see as a point of mastery, or something we resist and kind of can get really worked up about, or I'm seeing like steam coming out of the ears. It's like you can allow it to frustrate you at first, which is okay, but then call on some more ways of working with this energy, because the Mars in Aries is going through some energies here that are supporting the overall timing of something that you want, but it's just not time right now. So The other big energy that we have going on over the next week is Uranus in Taurus stationing retrograde. And when an outer planet is slowing down to station retrograde, it has a stronger vibration. And this is happening at 10 degrees and 42 minutes of Taurus, so nearly 11 degrees, which is a new point in the chart that Uranus is working with. So it's stimulating and shaking anything at 11 degrees, as well as any planets at 10 degrees. And the retrograde energy is where we're looking at what have we been understanding about our lives, about ourselves, that we're ready to shake off. And that's how I feel this Uranus slowing down to go retrograde, which happens, by the way, on August 15th. Although the energy is often felt at least a week before and a week after that date, because the planet moves so slow that it's a bit like it reverberating. The energy is intense and it just has this ability to vibrate very powerfully. So Uranus stationing retrograde is asking us to look at what we have learned about what has meaning to us right now. We've clearly had our lives changed drastically throughout 2020. A lot of things have been shaken up. A lot of things have been unexpectedly developed, and it's shown up in many areas of life, of course. But now we're getting an opportunity to be powerful in what our choices are next. And so this retrograde energy is going to go back to 6 degrees of Taurus until January 2021. And it's giving us an opportunity to call back in what we have learned, what we have understood, and to get clear guidance on what part of our life we don't need. What is not working for you? Where is something perhaps a time suck, or it's just a waste of resources? It isn't worth your effort anymore. It's just not something that you want to commit to. And this Uranus energy breaks up those commitments, breaks up those energetic cords, breaks up anything that is no longer in alignment with your value system, with what you really need and want in your life, and what is kind of a heavy weight. Because think about how we can really be in our comfort zones. And the Taurus energy loves the comfort zone. It loves security. It loves knowing what to count on. It loves having the routines and stability and things that support living a good life. Well, this Uranus energy is coming through and basically shaking the ground and testing what you have, testing what you want, asking you to really listen to what is essential and what is necessary for you, and to know that it's okay to let things go, to be liberated, to be freed from anything that maybe is tying you down or holding you back, because Uranus wants you to continue to trust in exciting developments, in what's possible next, in what's new next. But we're entering a period now of really coming back to how you want to live a good life. What does that mean to you? What does it really mean after this year, or perhaps the past 10 years, whatever time span you want to evaluate? Where are you really getting in touch with what it means to live the life that's correct for you? Because Uranus will support that. It's going to help put you in alignment with what matches your frequency, what matches your needs, what matches your desires, what matches your dreams. But you have to let go of that comfort zone, or that perception of stability, or even that idea of what it means to be in a comfort zone. Because I feel like this Uranus energy, wherever it is in your chart, it's really taught you some very big things this year about your own resources, about what you have, what you own, what you possess, and then what you want to invest in, and what matters to you. And this is not simply about material or financial means, although those are important. This is about the overall value structure of your life and a grand review of what you have in your life that is right for you and what is not. And as I say this, I'm getting the image of having a list with two columns and you say, yes, this stays, or no, this goes. And it's that kind of a clarity that can come through here. So Uranus stationing retrograde is a time when we call things back to ourselves and really get clear on what we need in our life that matches us, that matches our sense of self and what you really want going forward. And the idea is to shake off and let go of what's been holding you back. So a big week is underway here with these two main energies that I've already covered: Mars squaring Pluto and Uranus stationing retrograde. So now we're going to take a look at the energies of the Sun and Mercury over the next week, as both of these planets are going to be making interactions with the outer planets of Neptune and Pisces and Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn retrograde in Capricorn. What is happening is that both the Sun and Mercury are creating quincunx aspects to these planets, to all four of these planets. A quincunx is 150 degrees. And because of where they are showing up right now in Leo, they're also creating the finger of God aspect, or a yod. And this is a very fascinating development here, with both the Sun and Mercury traveling together, experiencing this pressure and a sense of tension from Neptune and Pisces and the planets in Capricorn. So what it means is that there's a part of ourselves, and this is represented in the Leo energies of the Sun and Mercury. Part of ourselves is receiving energy to evolve, to mature, to surrender, to let go, and step out of that ego, the ego limitations that we can be unconsciously carrying. And what I'm feeling around this energy of both the Sun and Mercury in Leo, it's interesting because I feel like it certainly started with the Lion's Gate of 8/8, but I've been feeling like there's been anxiety in the heart. And so the heart being Leo. And this is an anxiety that can feel like chaos. And I get the image of the shape of a heart, and it's outlined with some yellow and some pink. And then inside the heart shape, there's all this energy moving around. And this is the chaos or the anxiety that has nowhere to land. It has nowhere to ground itself. It's just this sense of what's going on, what's happening next, where am I meant to put my energy, what am I meant to focus on? Like there's a lot of change inside this energy field. And it's coming from these outer planets that are asking us to evolve what is possible and to not go too deeply into that anxiety. So this can show up in so many ways, of course, and it can be something you feel physically. You could feel it in your mind. You could feel it in your overall energy field. It can be something that you just haven't been able to even put your finger on. But that's how I'm feeling it. It's like this anxiety around something in your life that really matters to you because it's in your heart. And it can be a relationship. It can be a friendship. It can be a partnership, something with family, something with your work, anything, all of those things. And it just isn't settled. And over the next week, if you can see this visual as the heart receiving energy from the outer planets to support an evolutionary process, it could help relax the need to figure it all out. It could help settle the mind, settle the ego, even settle that desire or that intention to figure it out on your own. I don't think that's what's going to happen because this energy is very potent. And with all of these outer planets involved, Neptune and Pisces, asking you to be okay with the void, asking you to be okay not knowing. Just keep surrendering, keep moving through something. Allow the emotions to come up. Allow something to move through you. Don't be too stuck or too rigid in anything. Allow it to flow. Then you have the 3 planets in Capricorn that are about timing, responsibility, energy mastery. So there's these It's funny. Now I'm seeing it as like these laser beams on the heart that are coming in, and they're saying, yes, this is intense. Yes, this is happening. And those planets in Capricorn are showing you more ways to work with energy, how to really be in charge of everything that's going on in your life, even when it doesn't feel that way, but you're always in charge of your own energy. And now they're showing this to me as these lasers from each planet going to those Sun and Mercury in Leo energies as like a surgery, or as something that is being shifted permanently in the heart. And it's the heart perception that's being expanded. And so it's this, I see again as anxiety. Okay, so it's like the chaos or the anxiety in the middle of the heart, but it's receiving higher frequency energies that are outside of what is known or outside of that comfort zone. And it's helping to develop and grow something within you, but it can just feel really uncomfortable. And it can feel a little bit scary. It can feel a little bit nerve-wracking. You can even feel a little bit shaky. And over this next week, as both the Sun and Mercury travel through these various points with the outer planets, they are receiving these laser beams of energy that's working with them very intentionally. And what you can do is simply set the intention and make a declaration that everything is supporting my highest and best good now. Everything that I don't know, everything that I'm uncertain about, anything that's creating a sense of anxiety or chaos in me is all an illusion. I am always safe. I am always protected. I am always loved divinely by the universe during these times of big energies and big changes. Now, both the Sun and Mercury have these conversations with each planet. So it's not simply 4 conversations taking place, it's 8, because 8 energies are all working together, and that's why it's very intense. Oh, and that's why it's the 888 Lionsgate portal. Okay, so that 8 is important again in terms of how we understand the flow of energy and, of course, the infinity symbol of it all, right? That it's meant to keep flowing. So what I'm feeling is that actually part of that anxiety in the heart is revealing where there's been something cleared out. And this strongly relates to the upcoming Leo new moon. So there's been removals of energy, and then there's a void. And it's very easy to have our fears come up in a void. It's very easy to have the unconscious parts of ourselves reappear, or to have older programming show up. But I feel like none of it's going to stick. It's sort of like these short-term or temporary visitors are coming in, and yet they're being blasted by higher energies, and they're all helping you evolve and progress into some new and higher understandings that is actually happening at a divine level. Okay, so let me review this. Mercury in Leo is interacting with Neptune, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. The Sun is doing the same thing, interacting with those outer planets. So that means, again, these 8 energies all happening, not to mention the Sun and Mercury being conjunct. So we are working through some deeper energies that have been in our hearts, that have been cleared out. And now there are new energies coming in and coming forth, but they could feel ungrounded. They don't know where to land. They don't know where to settle. And there's going to be something that feels more certain and clear at the Leo new moon, which is happening on August 18th at 27 degrees of Leo. And that's when these energies somehow get strengthened as we finish out Leo season, and then both the Sun and Mercury will enter Virgo not long after the new moon. And the Leo energy here is helping us create the new requirements in our life around love, creativity, self-expression, taking a risk, being strong in yourself, being confident, being brave, being bold. All of this is what's being reworked. So it's interesting that they're showing it as like this laser surgery on the heart that is uncertain, and then it's going to get very solid because this Leo new moon at 27 degrees is actually at the same point in your chart where we had that very powerful total solar eclipse in Leo back in August 2017. And this is the total solar eclipse that went across the United States, starting in Portland, Oregon, and traveling all the way to South Carolina. And this energy of the past 3 years, if not longer, is what's being reworked and showing you more about love and relationships and dating and sex and what it means to share your heart, to open your heart, to have a strong heart. And this Leo new moon is grounding in something that is meant to be very solid and pure, but it also has a higher vibration, a higher frequency, and it's mixed with the divine. And that's just part of this energy I'm feeling intuitively, is that it's something that it's rewiring us all and reprogramming us in a way that I don't feel has been experienced in this lifetime. And it's helping to establish the correct heart connections going forward into this decade. And as the world continues to undergo big renovations, big changes, again, a lot of uncertainty, in the world at large, I feel like this is such a blessing because it's bringing very pure, clear, high vibrational energy into our hearts so that we can establish, maintain, and develop the right types of heart connections that will continue to support us amongst these bigger changes. So I hope that makes sense. It's like we're being supported at an individual level, if that's what you want, if you're open to it, if that's your intention. Of course, everything is free will, but it's helping to give us a sense of strength and power when it can feel very easy to feel powerless and uncertain around what might happen in the future. So again, there's just been this energy, I'd say from the past few days especially, of anxiety in the heart that is actually part of we'll call it a divine surgery on your sense of confidence and ability to give and receive love that's going to support you going forward and also pertains to what has changed for you in the world of love, relationship, self-expression, all these Leo energies since August 2017. So the past 3 years, what has shifted in your heart permanently? And at this Leo new moon on August 18th, you are being asked to really look at what your heart wants, what your heart needs, what you desire, and also the sense of self-love that you're worthy of all of this. I have a video for you on YouTube that reviews the chart of this Leo new moon at 27 degrees. So be sure and check that out as I go into more of the specifics and the energetics of that new moon. But just know that we are moving through a powerful phase here of rejuvenation. And also, the Mars in Aries energy will be trining the Sun and Mercury in Leo. And this is the strengthening of the divine masculine energies within each of us, within all of us, regardless of gender or sex. And this is the healed divine masculine energy, understanding more of what it's capable of, who it is, who he is, who you are, its ability to express itself. It's a very empowered divine masculine energy. And I feel it as a very healed divine masculine energy, healed over the past 3 years. Again, relating to that total solar eclipse in Leo. So this is a very exciting new chapter. There's something here that's coming up and coming forth for you to be aware of and to claim. But as we talked about at the beginning of the show, we know that Mars squaring Pluto means that there's something that maybe isn't going to manifest just yet, but to know that you can still honor your own life force, honor what you want, use the energy consciously and intentionally. And that's when it's going to keep you motivated and inspired without putting too much external focus on what is happening out there in the world. Okay, and so now my guides are bringing me to a story that feels random to me, but I'm just going to trust it and share it with you, about how many years ago I really wanted to be an author. It's something I was called to do. I've always wanted to write. I always wanted to publish books. I felt I had some messages to share that could help people. So I wrote my books and I went out into the world of traditional publishing to go down that path of getting an agent and getting a publisher. And it turned out to be a lot of work. I got rejected. They weren't interested, et cetera, et cetera. And that was something that at first set me back. And then I decided no one is going to tell me I can't create a dream. No one is going to tell me I can't do something that I am inspired to do. Maybe they aren't open to it. Maybe it's not the right time for them. That's okay. But I'm not going to reject myself. I'm going to stay inspired. I'm going to finish the book. I'm going to do what I can to make this happen. And so I followed the path of self-publishing, which I loved. I connected with some amazing people who were great editors, great book cover designers, great resources for the whole process. And I ended up publishing my first book, The Art of Trapeze, by myself. And through everything I learned, I did my own marketing. I did a lot. This was back in 2013. And my book ended up being number 2 on Amazon behind 12 Years a Slave. And I felt, of course, so proud and shocked, and I can't believe this happened, and I'm just doing all this by myself. I don't have all these resources or these big publishers, but oh my goodness, this dream happened. And it was a test, right? It was a test from spirit at first of how much do you want it? How much do you believe in yourself? How much do you trust yourself? How much do you really honor what you have to say, regardless of what anyone outside of you might tell you? That's what this energy is. That's what's coming up here, is that you can be temporarily set back by something. But if you stay there, if you stay being set back, that's what you chose. Unless you choose to keep going, unless you choose to try again or to try another path or to try another direction. Because again, I was like, no one's going to tell me no to my dreams. I'm not going to give them that power. I'm not going to give them that ability. The only person who can say no to my dreams is me. And it's okay if I need to take a time out or sit on the sidelines or need a break and need to regroup, but then you got to get back out there and you got to make it happen in the ways that are right for you. That's what's happening right now, is that even if you have setbacks, you have delays, you have someone telling you no, you say, no, that's not a good fit, or I don't see how that will work. You don't have to let that be the end of the story. You can allow it to be something that shows you a better path. And in fact, doing my own path and doing my own route turned out to be the best thing for me because I write really fast, and I ended up publishing a total of 10 books on my own terms in my own way. And it was something that worked for me. It worked for my energy. And I realized it was such a gift. It was such a gift from the universe to do it on my own terms and to have this experience of what's possible that isn't about anyone else's approval. So if you can make the most of this time right now, and you can fortify yourself, you can strengthen yourself, you can say, this is what I'm doing because this is my life. No one's going to tell me no to what I'm going to do in my life or what I want to do in the world. That's not their responsibility. It's my responsibility to show up for myself, to show up for my dreams, to show up for what I'm capable of, what I know I can do, what I know I can contribute. It's about showing up as yourself. And that's probably some of the tests that could come up, but know that it's also going to pay off because it could show you some new potentials, new pathways, and new solutions that you would not have otherwise seen. So over this next week, keep going. Keep the fires burning. Keep the inspiration going. Stay creative. Stay in your power. Stay in your confidence. And know that that's part of what we're going to be writing here as we move into December. But that there's things that you're going to see in yourself that you would not have seen before, that you wouldn't have noticed before. And it could be that it's because of the delays or challenges or whatever might come up that you're actually being gifted with something even better. And I hope that this upcoming Leo new moon gives you insights into more of what you're here to create, how you're here to love yourself, how you're here to be you in the world, and perhaps even plants some very powerful seeds around what's possible next. And one more thing I wanted to share with you before I sign off from today's show is that a good friend of mine, Erica Elmitz, has a program out called the Soul Growth Accelerator that's all about helping people accelerate their spiritual gifts, their spiritual tools, developing their intuition, understanding divine masculine, understanding distorted masculine, divine feminine, distorted feminine, all these incredible parts of our lives, all these different energies that are present that we can work with, that we can be powerful with. And she has this really great program that I feel could be timely for some of you. I'll put the link below, and it's currently at 40% off through the end of August. So please check that out. And I hope that perhaps that supports anything that you're going through or experiencing right now, or anything that you want to move through and move past. She could give you some really good tools for that as well. For those of you who listen to this podcast regularly, you probably saw the Monday episode where I talked about the 12 astrological houses and what those mean energetically, specifically for starseeds and lightworkers. I hope that episode helped you understand more about your natal astrology chart. And then next Monday, on August 17th, that episode is going to be about the 12 moon signs. I'm going to go through each moon sign because it's really good to understand this part of you, what you need daily, what your strengths are, what to be aware of, how the shadow shows up, and also just to get more to the heart of what you need energetically. So that will be Monday's podcast. We'll talk about the 12 moons, or the 12 astrological signs in each moon sign. So I hope you'll join me for that episode. Wishing you a beautiful week ahead. Be aware of your energy. Be aware of what your body is telling you and what you need right now. Understand that we are moving through some turbulence, but that if you can write it with higher intentions, you will sail through and, of course, feel much stronger about it on the other side. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back here soon. You can find out more about me at mollymccord.online or over at my author website, consciouscoolchic.com. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.